his picture in my phone is him on this, like, he's got all of his Emmys in front of him and he's looking up
that picture.
into the sky like
that's
this.
what you have.
That is your contact picture in my phone. And it's Josh, 5-time Emmy Award winner, Young Bar.
This is why we have Josh on the pod, for his expert directing takes.
Yeah.
Since he is a director.
Oh, yeah. Have we talked about this?
No, we haven't. I was thinking about that. I'm like,
have we not said that Josh is a director? I thought we did.
I don't think so. I mean, he's talked about, like, on when we talked about filming things, and you've mentioned how you do on, like, sets.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so I
indirectly
indirectly I've implied that I've experienced.
Yeah,
I guess is what you're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah. So for those of you who don't know me, I am a commercial film director, and have been doing that for 20 years. So,
feature film director one day,
maybe.
You see that Emmy up there? He's got 5 of them.
Only one. He didn't want to. He didn't want to flex.
He didn't want to flex too hard on the haters. And
Claudia is a film lover, but you're a optician.
Oh yes, I'm an optician. If we're going around the circle and talking about our occupations, eyeball health is my passion, but like my real passion is glasses.
Yes.
That's what I'm really good at. Is after the prescription, filling it for you and making sure you like your glasses and that they look good and that they're right for you. Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun job, I have to say. Because my job is to pick out the frames for the office that we sell. So I get to meet with vendors, different brands, and actually handpick all of the styles in the office. And that's the best part of my job. I just love it.
And big deal, you just got Gucci, which is sick.
Yeah, we just brought Gucci in.
Yeah.
Because Tom Ford has been killing it at the office.
Those two right there is like,
yeah,
that's amazing.
There are big luxury lines right now, and I'm very excited about that. And we're moving. So
right.
I'll have more board space to bring in more lines, and that's very exciting.
Nice.
Well, I don't. I just like talking about music. I'm not an actual film composer, but I would love to be one day. I would love to score a movie, but I have wrote music, I guess, for a lot of different things. But
what do you do now?
Teach music.
Yeah, he's a music teacher at a rock school.
And you composed a few things for some videos I did.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
A long time ago, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you were in a band. You toured all over the United States.
Well, yeah. But I'm talking about more because the reason why... Yeah, because the reason why I normally talk about the music in these movies is because that's what I'm
into. Your expertise area.
Yeah.
Even if you don't.
He's our music guy.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I know. Buckle up. This is going to be...
Oh, you have no idea the can of worms you just opened up watching for this movie with Jared.
Yeah.
I almost feel like you should be in the seat.
Should I host it? Yeah.
For this one.
I even wore my closest thing to my K shirt right now for the pod. Yep. I was trying to get Claudia to
the knitting is a little bit larger.
His is
larger.
Yeah, chunks. I like that. I wish I could find.
Look.
I know it's awesome. Yeah. And I've always wanted the duster ever since the movie came out.
That's awesome.
When I looked it up online, it was like $300.
Yeah.
Cheapest.
Yeah. So, cheapest was $3.
Yeah. So I'd be wearing that, even though I'd be roasting. I would be wearing that right now if I had it.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back to Screen Time.
Bienvenidos.
I'm your host, Josh Youngbar, and I have here with me
Jared
and Claudia.
All right. And even though we alluded to this already on today's episode, we are discussing Blade Runner 2049. As Denny refers to it at.
Oh, does he?
Yes.
So not 2049.
No, that's what I've always called it. But
yeah, me too.
I watched some extras, and he kept referring to 2049. That's what he said, 2049.
Did you watch the 2 short films?
I did not watch the short films.
Did you hear about them?
I did watch them prior. I just did not rewatch them for this, I should say.
We did. Claudia hadn't seen them, so I wanted to mention that. I was wondering if anyone
I had no idea there were short films.
Yeah, he got 2 other... I don't remember the directors. He said it was like 2 friends of his that did there's a third one that's animated. I didn't watch that one, but the 2 live action short films or from two friends of his, directors. But
So the movie was, released in 2017 and rated R and 2 hours and 44 minutes. Synopsis. Young Blade Runner K's discovery of a long-buried secret leads him to track down former Blade Runner Rick Deckard, who's been missing for 30 years. I think that is a little more descriptive than some of these. I feel like it is.
Yeah, that gives you a really good premise.
yeah, I'm surprised that they actually mentioned Deckard in the synopsis. Yeah. That's interesting.
Directed, obviously, by Denis Villeneuve, our boy that we've been
our boy
watching.
He is our boy.
He is.
This was written by Hampton Fancher and Michael Green. Hampton Fancher wrote the original Blade Runner script so he helped write this one, and then Michael Green, he's done a bunch of movie and TV stuff, including the movie Logan.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, and then we've got the third time's the charm with Roger Deakins as the cinematographer.
Yep.
Now this is, because we've been talking about this on these episodes, this estimated production cost was $150 million. So this is like almost triple any of his previous movies that Denny has worked on. And I mean, obviously you see that in the amount of sets and production.
Most definitely. Yeah.
Well, I guess this is now already 6 years old, which is crazy. But even that, though, looking at this movie, thinking about it in 2023, like that seems low, which is crazy. 150 million, it's insane. But yeah, it's it's amazing what they did with all that for this movie. Did you so is that why you mentioned third time's a charm for Roger Deakins?
Yeah, it was just third time them working together. Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't look up because he did win this time. Roger Deakins won for cinematography.
I did not look that up, but I did know that at one point. Like it wasn't something I looked at recently.
It also won for best visual effects.
Nice.
That makes sense.
Those are the two that I found on it.
And they were, a lot of practical effects. Like that's
obviously awesome.
They obviously added CG later, but they did as much as possible practically, which always,
I love that.
Yeah, always feels more real. He was in some of the extra stuff I was watching. He was talking about that, like almost like talking about his process and even Deacon's process of just figuring out. He said it's hard to then if you do too much green screen, then it's hard to find things in the moment that he likes to do. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense, because like if there's nothing to see, then it's just all green screen and some actor standing there, or even the previs. You do have to previs so much stuff, and then with the what do they call those? The stagecraft stuff that they do with the Mandalorian and the Star Wars. All that stuff has to be planned specifically, so they have those generated visuals.
They do that in Unreal Engine, yeah.
Yeah, so then they have it all planned out ahead of time. So you obviously can play with placement a little bit because those are real time,
you move around, yeah.
But you still are kind of locked in more than you would be in a real practical set or real location. There's a lot of talent here.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we were talking about that when we were watching it last night.
Because we normally write down the kind of more known, at least to me, people, and normally it's like 3-4 people. And this one, I think I've got like 8 listed.
There's so many, yeah.
So we got Ryan Gosling, Dave Bautista, Robin Wright, Ana de Armas, I don't know how you say her last name, Harrison Ford, Mackenzie Davis, Edward James Olmos, and then Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
a lot of well-known people.
There's a couple more I will shout out at some point too that were amazing in this.
So let's just overall thoughts on the movie.
Vague thoughts without spoiling.
Yeah.
Right.
I never even heard of Blade Runner until I met Jared. I just want to start off by saying that. And the first time I watched it was with Jared. And I think we've seen it at least 3 times together since then.
Talking about original or this movie?
This movie. We saw the original once. I think that was it. I think we only saw the original one time.
Together. We've only seen it. Yeah.
But this one, the 2049 one, we watched 3 times since. And it's crazy because the first time I watched it, I was like, how have I never seen or heard of this movie before? Because it's so cool. And like the concept of it's amazing. And obviously that sci-fi, as a sci-fi, like as a genre, this movie obviously is one of the better known, I would say, films. And to not have heard of it is so wild to me. Maybe I was just being, I don't know, blatantly ignorant to it. That could be it. But I mean, this movie is amazing. Everybody in it's amazing. I don't think there's any dead weight characters in this movie at all. Visually stunning. Outfits are insane. Yeah, I just overall love this movie. Not as much as Jared does for sure, because he's got a deeper like love for it. But I do have a mad respect for this movie, and I would watch it again and again. It's one of those movies that I just like. I don't have to watch it one more time. I could watch it anytime. Jared could be like, "Let's watch Blade Runner." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, let's watch it."
So you've liked it even more every time you've seen it. Yeah,
definitely.
Cool. How do you feel about the music?
It's so good. Like, it's fitting.
Well, I just want your opinion, because I won't shut up about it, especially even this most recent time.
No,
but I want to know how you feel about it.
Every song that plays in the background of each scene fits so well to the time that it's supposed to be portraying, the time period, and then the more.
You mean the actual songs, or the score? Because there's the actual
score.
Sorry, I'm not trying to.
I know.
I'm not trying to be.
I know, yeah.
Because there are.
Yeah. No, the score.
Because there's actual songs too that are amazing.
Well, obviously, Jared and I's song is in this movie.
Yeah, our song is in this. Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite scenes. Not even just because of the song being in it, but just the scene itself is so awesome, which we can get into that later. But yeah, the actual score is insane. Absolutely insane.
I'll go last. Go ahead. I'm gonna go off.
I figured.
I figured you will.
It's gonna pop off everybody.
I mean, I pretty much. I don't know. I don't disagree with most of the things you were saying. I mean, the score just really pushes this to the next level. Almost like the score does a lot of lifting in the ambiance of the movie, right? And I think, in a good way. All everything is so well done. I will say, and this is just a general. So the only I say it's, and this is not negative. It's just the only thing I feel like, just watching all his other movies leading up to this one, I feel like there was a little bit of, how to say this, there's just a little bit of lost potential. It's probably the best way to say it, because of having to be a sequel. I think there was a little bit of just baggage that this film has because of it being a sequel that none of his other movies had, and just how clean those stories were. And this, not that this is not good. I think it's still very good, but I feel like if he didn't have the baggage of it being a sequel, he probably could have made even stronger story.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
So if he had more creative freedom, with the story itself, I can see that.
But I also think, as sequels go, especially legacy or whatever you call those, where they're almost trying to reboot something, so to speak, so many years later. Still way better than so many others that have been doing that recently in the last 10 years or whatever. So, not trying to, again, I don't want it to sound negative. I just watching it, I think I would have never even processed it that way if it wouldn't be the fact that we watched all those other movies leading up to this, and so many, and
that's cool. You get a
feel
different
like
perspective.
I was just they were so strong, the
Yeah.
other ones, and then this one is just a hint not there at those levels. And I'm just talking about the story now. On other things, this one's like superior,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's just a little thought that I kind of had that when I was watching him.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, because it's a sequel. Yeah, since it's not like a remake of Blade Runner. He chose to continue it, So like, yeah, you're right. There's some stuff that he's got to connect in with that. Yeah, for sure. Want me to go? Okay.
Do we just go take a break? Or
I know,
say,
yeah. I'll be back.
I know. I'm gonna try not to make this like a 2-hour long podcast, but the original Blade Runner is one of my favorite movies, and this is up there too. This is probably one of my favorites as well.
I'm just curious.
Yeah,
because you say that, and I mean, I remember seeing it at I don't know what age. You probably might even been not born when, I don't know. I probably wasn't that young, but you were probably really little the first time I saw this movie. But I don't remember, I don't remember it being one that we watched a lot, like some of the other stuff we watched more often. At least me growing up doesn't mean I saw it, just not. So I wondered, like, what was like. I'm just trying to like, when was you saw it and it made that impression on you?
Well, I mean, the movie as a whole was.
Or I guess, sorry, I don't mean to. I'm just thinking, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I don't remember sitting down and watching it with you.
No,
when we were kids.
No, I don't know. So I don't think so. Not that I can remember.
I'm just kind of curious, like when.
Yeah, I mean, the original movie when it came out anyway was a pretty. Became a cult classic. Like, it was pretty, as far as I'm aware, it was not really. It didn't even do that well, even when it came out.
Yeah.
But I mean, the book. I mean, this all, just like with any other sci-fi, I mean, which I'm very thankful for. Our dad is the one that got me into what we've been talking about, Star Wars, but everything's sci-fi, now with Foundation. But he, it was the books and what this book is based on too. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, even with like our next movie, Dune.
Yes.
All of that. The old Dune movie, like watching that a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with this, I never read the book that it's based on. But the movie, I remember watching it. No, it was later though. But I remember the original, and there's like 5 different cuts of the original movie, which is a whole nother thing as well. But it was the final cut, which is the best version. But Dad had it on DVD. Yes, which I think he still does. So that's when I watched it. So whenever that would have been. So no, it was definitely later. So I want to say, when were DVDs like? Well, had it been like, I would say probably mid 2000s is when I probably would have saw it first.
Okay.
So, yeah, that makes sense. I was probably like 15. No, 16, 17. Yeah, around that age.
Okay.
And
so I wouldn't have been living at home anyway.
Right, exactly. But I do remember, like, because another big sci-fi thing around that time was The Matrix. I remember watching all the time at your house, cause on DVD, because you got that like immediately when it came out.
Well, I saw that movie like 5 times in the theater.
Okay, so speaking of that, so anyway, so that's why, to go along with that, what you just said, I saw this one 2049 twice in theaters, because I was so excited for it when it came out anyway. And just think about, so Claudia and I saw Dune in Dolby Atmos, and I was trying to explain to her, like, so think of that, although it wasn't actually Dolby Atmos, I want to say, when I saw, but think of that experience with this sound and these visuals in theaters. Like, it was insane. It was one of the best movie theater experiences. So I saw it twice in theaters and then, I mean, since then, I don't know, I've probably seen this movie like 12 times or something. But yeah, so kind of since then, so what I say, mid 2000s and just leading up till now, I just became a huge fan of it. I just, like Claudia said, I love the world of it and the premise of it all. And even just the name, like even just hearing the name, it is one of the coolest names for a movie, or just the term Blade Runner is just awesome. So, and then, I mean, there's so many callbacks, and this is one thing I actually do appreciate about this movie, because they could have very easily, which I think if it was a different director, they would have done this, called back to the original too much, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But they do it just enough, and actually in a really important way, and not just like, hey, you remember the original? You know, for fan service.
Mm-hmm.
So they did that perfectly with this movie. And it's just, yeah, everything about this. Like, I think this time when we just watched, I said, man, every actor in this is going, like, they went above 100%. Like, every actor is incredible in this. The visuals, obviously, which makes sense. He finally won for the cinematography, but of course, also a lot that has to do with Villeneuve as well. And then so the score, also, Hans Zimmer, which I don't need to mention what all he's done. That's one of the few composers that everyone just knows,
yeah.
which is great. And then co-wrote by Benjamin Wallfisch also, which he did both It 1 and It 2, which has
Wow.
amazing music
Yeah,
too. But
absolutely.
that's one of the things. He hasn't done a whole lot of other stuff that I think would have been recognizable. But so they both did it. And what's interesting is I didn't know this. Johan Johansson was going to do this one originally. And then Denny talked to him and said, like, we want to go do something completely different, even though I think he could have done this. But again, think about it now, it's like,
Yeah, it's hard to.
would it
Can't
have been
imagine.
right? Yeah, exactly. But
Even though Hans Zimmer did it, I feel like it's even a little different than some of his typical stuff too.
it is, yeah.
Um,
Same with Dune too.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
very,
Dune-
very different.
He
Yep.
did Dune, and it's got a little like he definitely had opportunities.
That's why he's one of the best. Yeah,
had opportunities to stretch himself creatively too.
definitely. Yeah, yeah. So again, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. One of my favorite scores too. I'm gonna later in the pod, I'm gonna shout out a few that I'm gonna say like in the context of the movie is amazing, but even listening to it on by itself, I encourage everyone to do, because there's a lot that you don't hear in it, and there's one in particular I'm going to mention that is insane. Just listening to it, you pick up on a lot that you wouldn't watching the movie. So
That's a good. I don't think I've ever listened to this.
oh
one.
man,
Like because there's definitely scores that I love, like
Inception.
Inception score.
Yeah, I know that's
I
one,
play
yeah.
that one, and especially if I'm doing there's certain types of creative work that I need to do, and you just want some music that doesn't have dialogue in it to just
Mhm.
kind of listen to and get good. And that's some of the stuff I get. But this would fit it right in with that. I just never have. I
Yeah.
never had that to. Yeah.
Yeah, Inception also, shout out Hans Zimmer.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I could go on. I got a lot of stuff. I'll just kind of I want to kind of make
Yeah.
sure
What-
everyone else keeps
What
going
month
too.
did this come out in 2017? Do we know?
That I don't
I
remember.
don't remember. I mean,
So I remember.
sure, somebody does on the internet.
So I'm trying to think. I remember seeing this movie
I know
with.
you, Dad, and I saw it together.
So that was okay because I remember seeing it with Kenny and well, I guess it would have been Derek also then. But then so we did see it also.
October
Okay, so that was the
6th.
two times. October 6th.
October 6th. So
Probably-
we met.
We must have just met.
Just met.
Yep.
Because we met in September.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
think we probably went like Dad's birthday because it's like Dad's birthday.
That would make sense. Yeah.
Not opening weekend because he wouldn't have gone opening weekend. But
That was another thing about this movie because, like, and I think that would have been the first time seeing it was, us three. Like, it was really important. Like, I wanted Dad to be there because I know he loves the original. That's one of his favorite movies, too. And, like, we're not really going to get another Blade Runner, especially like this, at least in Dad's lifetime. So I'm like, he needs to be there to see this, you know?
Mhm.
So, but yeah, it was awesome. One of the best theater experiences both times seeing it, I think.
yeah, I remember being good. Good to see in the theater for sure. All right, so we'll get into a little spoilers. So just overall, talking about the characters and story and stuff like that. Yeah. So I guess first of all, like who's your favorite character? in this.
Dude, I can't.
We talked about this
Can't
watching
decide.
it last night. We were like, how are we going to ever pick our favorite or...
You mean character or performance?
I was
Or
saying
both, or-
character. The
Okay.
characters are like the actual, like, not the actors'
Not
names,
the actor
but the
doing it,
people
yeah.
they're personifying in the story.
Even that, I don't know.
It's a hard question. Because there are aspects of each character that I could pick that I love about each one. Jared Leto's character, just his, I don't know what the word is. He's so intelligent and powerful. And it's even cooler that his character's blind also.
Yeah. He speaks like a philosopher.
And
like
he does.
all his whole dialogue.
He's very
yeah.
philosophic.
Yeah.
His presence is big when he's in a room. And that's something I really like about his character. Batista's character, it makes me sad he wasn't in it that long, because I would have loved to see him in, and I was happy he was in one of the shorts because we got to see a little bit more about him. But Batista is an incredible actor. I mean, in everything I've seen him in,
Yeah.
he is extremely talented, and he's just like this huge guy, and he's, you know, this farmer, but in the short time that he's in this movie, he's so memorable.
Yes.
Even like after the fact. Joy, what's the actress
Ana
name?
de Armas.
Yeah, Ana de Armas. She is she's so sweet. You know, she's so sweet, and she's so loyal to Joe. And
Joe.
and I really love that about her, and she's so cute too. Like, I just, everything she's in, she's like so cute, and I love, you know, I just love her as an actress anyway.
Yeah, she's cute.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yes.
she Latina.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously Ryan Gosling. I mean, I'm a big fan.
You are.
I'm a big fan of Ryan Gosling.
I asked this time, I said, is this peak Ryan Gosling for you? You said it's up there.
It's up there. He's very attractive in this movie, but in my heart, it's Noah from The Notebook. That's like Ryan Gosling. He's got a special place in my heart because I was like a teenager when I watched that movie. And,
Of course, yeah.
You know, oh, it's so cute. But I mean, I've never seen Ryan Gosling look bad, is what I'm going to say. Even in the Barbie movie. Although I'm really happy that I saw this after the Barbie movie, because I just didn't, he was my least favorite, Ryan Gosling, in the Barbie. And now that I got to kind of wash away that taste in my mouth.
Oh,
watching
and
Blade
I'm
Runner.
sure comparing that to this, it's like his performance in this is like, even though I heard he's really
he's
funny
very good in the Barbie movie. I
but
just
like,
don't like his character at all.
But his
Ken.
performance in this is like,
oh, it's incredible.
amazing,
Yeah, he's very good. I mean, I could go on. I
know.
don't know who my favorite character is. There's so many.
you mentioned someone in particular that was your very favorite character.
I admire. Well, she ends up being.
I had to look up the actress' name because I wasn't familiar with the actress.
She ends up being the baby they're looking for. And she is a creator of memories. She makes artificial memories for the replicants. And what's her name in the movie? Do we know?
Dr. Anna Stelline, which actually I had to look up also because I don't remember ever hearing her name in the movie.
Okay.
I've seen this many times, but
Because outside of her little place,
Yeah.
it's Stelline.
right, her last name, yeah.
Her last name.
Mhm.
I remember the first time I watched the movie, and
Carla
she's not in
Jury.
it a lot either.
Carla Jury is the actress.
Carla Jury.
Yeah.
Okay.
She hasn't done very much.
Yeah, she hasn't, yeah.
She's not in the movie a lot, but you just peek into her raw emotions so much in the short time that she's in this movie. She's obviously very lonely because of her condition that she has, and how she has to stay in one place. But she can make all of these incredible memories for replicants that feel so authentic for them. And you know, the few times where she gets sad and just starts to cry, you know, kind of silently, something about her made me feel like I felt a lot watching her character. And she's one of those. And I really appreciate that too, when I can just feel like the empathy, like I can almost feel her emotion, you know, and it makes you sad.
One of my favorite lines that she says when she's talking to Kay about, he's like, how do you make the memories so real? And she says, most people think it's about detail, but she said it's about the emotion from
It is.
your memories. Your experiences.
I mean, if you think about memories, you don't remember every last detail. You just remember how you felt in that moment.
It's not that way.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's very profound. And I love her character a lot, even though she's not in it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about you, Josh? Do you have a favorite? Because I can't pick.
I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, you're right. It's difficult. I mean, it's not like I had a good answer for this. I just, you mentioned a lot of good ones. I think, in case I've already drawn like her name, but the baby they're looking for, the emotion, the memory maker. Like, I agree with you. Like, it was such a standout, especially for as little bit of screen time she had.
Yeah.
And then again, the same with Dave Bautista, especially. I feel like this is the first time when I saw this movie. It's the first time I saw him do a serious role. Like, he always does there's like the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff where he's goofy, and then he's even done like the buddy comedy cop type stuff. And he's great in those. But like, to see him like be more serious and you felt that, like, where he had a history of, he was in a military history, but had been a quiet family man and farmer for like so long, and he I think embodied that great, and you kind of felt that of him. But then he also had a presence that was able to fight back when even though he didn't win when he needed to, right?
Yeah.
And it, especially for a guy that size to still seem vulnerable in that way, like, great. And again,
he's very good at that.
With that small amount of screen time that he had.
Yeah.
So I think those two stand out the most for those reasons.
Sapper Morton is his name in this. Yeah. Yeah, he's not in it much.
Impressive that they got such a tiny frame to fit on his face. His little glasses.
They are very, very tiny, especially looking on him. Yeah.
But I mean, optically, they fit him. They fit his eyes. I can't even complain about it.
There you go. So no glasses sins in this movie.
No frame sins.
Good.
No eyewear sins. Yeah.
Oh, I do want to mention one other character. Like, I'm not gonna say they're my favorite, but
Love.
Yes. I had to look up her name, or the actress's name, Sylvia Hoeks. Man, she, I don't know what it is. Well, you point out a couple of things this time that she does in this movie that's just like so good. And although those particular things could have, I guess, been a stunt person, but she, I don't know how to explain it. She has so much. What's the word? She's very intense, like, the whole time, and she just keeps getting more intense. Yeah. But she's so good at that. And shout out to C on Apple. She's in that, and she's also very good in that. Those are the two main things I've seen her in. But she's an amazing actress. And then
the scene when she's like with Madam, and she breaks the glass in her fist. She's like, I'm going to tell him that you shot me first. Yeah. But she's also like crying, and she's like insane in the face. Dude, like,
she's so good at that.
She is so good. She's crazy, dude. Like, that's a crazy woman right there.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Well, also when she's getting her, I haven't actually noted on this.
With
like,
her nails
done.
That's like one of her favorite
hologram nails, and she's like dropping missiles like from a drone, like, and killing people.
Claudia said she's like, that's what I want to be doing.
She's got eyewear that's like, she can see bombs being dropped, and she's just getting her claws done, and she's like, fire 20 feet west, fire again, fire. So, like, I mean, killing everybody. And just like, don't mess up my tips, okay?
Yeah.
So
and
good.
then they were like holograms on the nails.
Yes,
it was awesome.
Like one of those little extra touches.
Yeah, I need that. I want to know when the science is there.
That technology is there.
The other one is Mackenzie Davis, which you mentioned, which her name's Mariette, which I also don't recall hearing them say that in the movie, because I had to look up her name too, because I'm like, I don't know if they ever mentioned her name.
Because like Joy kind of controls her like right as
there
a
you go.
marionette.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. But amazing actress too.
Yeah.
Shout out *Halt and Catch Fire*.
Yes.
Oh,
That's the main thing I've seen her.
I think that's the only other thing I've seen her in.
No, you have San Junipero.
Yes,
She's in the Black Mirror episode San
She's
Junipero.
one of the main actresses in San Junipero.
Yes.
But yeah, I love her too. Yeah, and she's great in this. And yeah, so those two I wanted to mention. Besides, obviously, everyone else that we've already talked about.
Yeah. So, cinematography.
Yes.
OMG.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's insane.
yeah, the textures,
Yeah.
the just yeah,
Lighting.
It's
I when I was like 'cause I usually like to look at like best shot, and I'm like, I don't know the whole movie.
Yes.
It's like
all of the above.
dude, it's like there's no way you could even point out one, because it's like literally every scene you're like,
I love
is this the best shot? You know, it's like, and it just keeps going.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
There's so many nice looking shots. So many, yeah. But it did remind me though, like we were talking about how there were some similarities to some of the stuff in Enemy, right? That we
Oh yeah, that's
like,
right. Whoops, sorry guys. I
again
just
seeing
bumped
them,
the mic.
seeing them close together like that. And of course, the Enemy I'd never seen before till we watched it like a month or so ago, and just there were some interesting things there that were like, you're like, oh, this, I see some, I don't want to say inspiration or ideas that then played out in this, visual ideas. And then there was something else that was just drew a blank. But yes, and just the color, like not just like not just but like the color grading, not just not just like, because the neon stuff's cool looking and stuff. But the
water ripples in the office. What is Jared Leto's?
Yeah, that place
Starts with a W. What's his last name or his name?
Oh, Wallace.
Wallace. Yeah. The Wallace Corporation. The water reflection.
Well, and the lights like constantly moving in there.
Dude, yeah, it's amazing.
And that was a practical set they built, and so they had to make all that stuff.
It's like
I didn't know that was all practical. That's even cooler.
Incredible.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me wonder why houses don't do that anyway, because I'm sure that's like wildly energy saving. Like if you just wherever you enter a room, the lights come on and then they shut off as soon as you leave, like sort of thing. Why don't we have that?
I mean,
do we have that?
They kind of do, yeah.
People don't do it as much.
People don't do it in their homes.
They don't do it at home as much because it's a little bit more challenging to set up, though, with the smart home stuff, automation stuff. You can do it.
Yeah.
But a lot of businesses. I mean, honestly, at Volvo, where I was at this week, like they just have like motion sensors and all. So like as soon as you go in, they come on, and then if there's no movement in there after a little bit, they go off.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, which can be annoying sometimes.
No, I can see why that would be annoying.
If you're in the room but you're not moving a lot, and all of a sudden it goes off, and you're like, "Crap."
Our bathroom at work is like that.
This, trying to get it.
Bathrooms at work, and you're just like, ooh, and the light goes off.
You've been on the can a little too long.
Oh yeah. You're just like, you're like waving your hand, and then it comes back on. Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's so hard to like, get into specifics.
Yeah.
Because it's just a very, very pretty movie.
Well, and you talking about color grading, like then it's like a huge shift when he goes to find Deckard, like how.
Well, the Vegas. We basically goes to Vegas,
right? Yeah, and like, what would you call that color specifically then? Because that's a very
visually
big
very
difference.
Orange. Yeah, I mean, I think they were trying to lean into the desertness of Vegas, right? Like to kind of. And just to give it also it was supposed to be what used to be radioactive. So I think also just to give it kind of some, but it just looks good.
So one thing actually going along with the visuals, that because one of the biggest things I see, and I will defend this movie for this, because one thing I think I saw the most when this movie came out that people complained about was it's just a lot of people walking around real slow. But when you have a movie this good looking with this many sets, I appreciate it. Because like even that, like, so it takes him a while to get to, when he starts walking and going into, in Vegas. But it's like every shot, it's like this is great. I never am bored.
No,
You
there's
know?
always something to look
Exactly.
at
So
in the background.
there's
that
a
you're just
purpose
like,
for it. It's
wow.
not just like, oh, why is everyone just walking around?
They're
you know?
deliberately wanting you to take in the scenery.
Yes. And obviously, like, some of the coolest of that is just when Kay or anyone else is walking on the streets and you just, I mean,
The shots
just everything
behind, the
going on. Yep.
signs, like
Yep, the
Sony
giants.
signs, the
Mhm.
holographic
Mhm.
advertisements that are going on.
Yes.
You just want to see everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Even his, like, when he goes into, like, his apartment area, like, getting to his apartment. And not only that, I mean, his apartment itself is pretty cool too, but like just how different everything is. And then obviously when he goes to see, oh, does she have? It's just Madam, right? She shouldn't have a name.
I don't know what her name is.
I don't know her name, but
Madam is what I would refer to her as. Yeah.
yeah, even that, how different that is when he goes back to see her. Yeah, it's just.
If I had to pick a character that I didn't like, would be on like low on the totem pole, it would be Madam.
Yeah, she's supposed to be that way. That like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were talking about like, it's Claudia didn't. Well, I guess you knew, but you were like, I reminded
realize.
you. I was like, this is the Princess Bride girl.
Yeah. Yeah. I did not realize that.
But again, also that movie came out when I was born, so like it's been 36 years. Well, no, not since this movie came out, but you know, it's like 30 years.
And also,
30 years. Yeah.
Also, House of Cards.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah.
And Forrest Gump.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't she? Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's one thing. No, Forrest Gump. Yes, she's the girl from. That's crazy. Yeah. Anyway, the point is, they did right this year, giving him the award.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if you had to pick one that he did,
yes.
good on them. And then again, yeah, visual effects. I tried to look up to see. Obviously, there's other stuff that was nominated, but the actual 2 wins were visual effects and is it for cinematography is what they would call it?
Yeah. One of the other color gradings, so like the early stuff with the farm with David Bautista, and it's like just so gray.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finds that flower, and and it allows that moment for that flower to be so stronger because of
it
the
pops
tone,
out.
How
Yeah.
they set
Vibrant.
how they set everything so gray for so long that you're watching that
Little bit of yellow is like, yeah.
It's like this is the kind of movie that like you could pause at any time, almost any time, and just take a screenshot. Like, hey, this is a great background, whatever. Because I mentioned the one where he's there, and it's that huge wide shot of him looking around. No, it's when he goes back there. It's not the very beginning. It's when he goes back there. There's a very wide shot of him standing next to the tree. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dude, just this shot itself. I'm like, it's one of the best. But then it's like, then it just keeps going. It's like, it's insane. Yeah.
The very first shot, like the eye, and the transition from the eye to the solar farm looking stuff is just, and of course the symbolism of the eye and all it has to do with the Blade Runner stuff anyway. But
I'll have a music note about that with the eye later.
All right. Okay. Well, that's the next section. Music.
Oh, okay.
Let me just sit back.
Take a nap.
Guys been taking a nap? Yeah, no. I'll try to be quick. Already mentioned, Hans Zimmer and Benjamin Wallfish did the music. The only thing I couldn't find is how much how much was Zimmer, and how much was the other guy. Because obviously this other guy is not nearly as big as Hans. So, but I mean, they're both credited, so I don't know. Anytime there's 2 composers in a movie, I'm always wondering how
do you decide?
Exactly, yeah. But I also just want to mention Vangelis because he is the composer of the original Blade Runner, and there are many sections in this that they do some melodies to his original score, and there's one track in particular I think every time I watch this movie with you, Claudia, I've been like, there's the part at the end. And I even did it again this past time. I was like, That's the part. Yep. But it's okay. Hold on. Let me see. I gotta look at a few things here.
What was which? I was trying to remember what, and you said it was your earlier. You were talking about your song. What part was that?
When him and Deckard are fighting in the casino area, and Elvis all hologram is
Yes,
performing, and then when he does "Can't Help Falling in Love," Deckard's like, "I like this song.
Yep.
We can either keep at this or we can get a drink."
But it's not only that. Before that, it's "Suspicious Minds," which is just
such a good song too. But "Can't Help Falling in Love" obviously is our song,
of course. And then they
have the big Marilyn Monroe on the stage was pretty cool. Also,
I think the "Summer Wind" is in there at some point too by Sinatra, but the other one is right after that. The other Sinatra song that's in it, that's really good too. Those are just song wise. There's some great choices, even though there's not a ton. Actually, and then there's one more which is just crazy to think about that is not in the movie, but it's the last song on the soundtrack, or because they put in the actual songs too in the score. There's a track by Lauren Daigle that she did for this movie.
She wrote a song for the movie.
That's odd.
Isn't that
very
so
odd.
Random?
Yeah, and I was like, "Is that over the credits?" And I went through the whole credits, and no. Because I'm like, where else would it be?
On the soundtrack, the Blade Runner soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's not in the movie.
But I'm like, hey, that's cool that they got,
Yeah, that's very...
her to do it. And again, it's not... I don't really like the song that much. Actually, the verses are pretty good. The chorus, I do not like.
The chorus is where it messes up, because the verses are strong, and it's very good.
Yeah. And her voice is amazing.
Yeah, Lauren Daigle's...
Yeah.
I got an amazing voice.
But I just, for the longest time, I didn't know that, and I saw that, I'm like, what? That's so... Which I'm glad they didn't put over the credits, because it really wouldn't fit at all.
It wouldn't have fit, yeah. Unless it was like the last song, like when...
That's why I went to the end, because I'm like, okay, maybe we're the very... I don't know.
Was it?
Yeah.
And then maybe in the shorts, no?
No, not in the shorts either. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm assuming maybe over some like trailer or promotion for it, maybe. Because what else would it... I don't know what else it would be for then. Okay, I think I got mine. Yeah. I got a lot of notes. Just in general, I'm trying to find. Well, I already mentioned the original Blade Runner score is one of my favorites by Vangelis, and then this is also one of my favorite scores. There's still some sounds in this score that I have tried to replicate and figure out how they've done it since 2017 and still have not figured it out. And I'm still trying to. And this is also, both of these albums are very big influences on my first solo album and my next solo album whenever I actually do finish it. Both of these scores are very, very important to that. But a couple of the songs I just wanted to mention overall. So I'm just gonna name the tracks and just talk about it a little bit. 2049. This is with the I at the beginning. It's just called 2049. It's I don't know how to describe it besides it's a wall of synth sound, and it's insane. And it's another one that I'm like, I don't know how they did this, because you can't just like put like 20 different tracks of just synths. Like it's not going to feel big then, because the more you put in, it actually starts feeling smaller. So there's a lot of ways I'm like, even just that, how it swells and it gets like to the biggest point there, I think, when you see the eye open. And I'm like, even just that, I'm like, it's amazing. But that's 2049.
That sound does. Yeah. Like, and that's one of the things I was talking about that just adds so much to the ambiance of them.
It does, yeah.
Because it's the vibe that of the world, right? And it's like that. It's almost like it's so just rough, but like in your face. Like,
yeah, it's very in your face, especially there.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
And then, and it obviously was the best seeing it in theaters because it was just insanely loud, which is how it should be, especially on that part.
I watch, normally when I watch these, because I'm watching them by myself and other people are in the house, I just put my AirPods in and put noise canceling, and
I'm sure it still sounded great in those. Yeah,
and I just say.
Oh, you have the newer ones anyway, so they have. Yeah.
Well, I don't have the Pro 2s, and the Pro 2s are supposed to sound even significantly better than the Pro 1s, which is what.
Still, though, I'm sure you get a lot of range.
It is, and I was just gonna say, like yeah, you feel it. It's yeah. If you're
I
watching,
wanna-
if you're watching a movie by yourself, I recommend just doing it that way because then you have the spatial audio, which is
Oh yeah.
kind of like Dolby Atmos, but not quite as.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's the only thing is like if they ever put this movie back in theaters, I want it because like I said, it mentioned it wasn't Dolby Atmos when we saw it, and then also, I don't know, would they do like a IMAX version of this? I wonder.
I don't know if they shot it for that.
Yeah, that's true. You'd have to think about that beforehand, but
maybe need a rally to get it as a film league movie.
I was gonna say that. Yeah. Be a film.
Did they ever do the original Blade Runner?
I don't know.
They do a double header.
That's what they need to do.
Throw
Throw in those 2 shorts before it too, because what's cool about those 2 shorts is it's 2 time periods before.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
like not. They were like jumps in time.
This was one of the first movies we watched together, though. Like when we started going out, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
'Cause you were
think
like,
so.
okay, first order of business, you have to watch Blade Runner.
Yeah, that sounds like me. Yeah.
about right.
Yeah, it's like,
Sounds
oh,
about
what?
right.
Okay,
well,
yeah,
we would have watched Blade Runner, then Blade
yeah,
Runner
we did.
2049.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
watched the first one, the older one. first.
2049.
2049. Sorry. Yeah, you're right.
No, I just thought it was just one of those things that like I'm watching and like, did he just not say 2049?
Well, I mean,
No, I feel like in the marketing, I don't know, because where else would that
Yeah.
came from? I think it's just how everyone said it.
I think it's just how everyone said it, but I mean, it makes sense. I think it sounds cooler saying 2049, but when you talk about a year, well, no, we say 2023 a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so
2020,
you don't
yeah.
say 2000.
I don't say 2023.
Right.
Ever.
So
Ever.
it might just be because he's French. You know, that's
Maybe
just
it is
how
a
he.
French thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Next one. I got to go through these quick because I feel like we're probably already running really
We are.
long. Next one is called Rain. This is when Kay walks outside of his apartment with Joy in the rain.
Her first time out.
Yes. So this is a little bit more atmospheric, but it's just got a really nice bell melody, I want to say. It's kind of a bell sound. Another one I really don't know how they did exactly. I can get close to it, like replicating the sound, but not exactly. But that's another one I like.
I was just since you're talking about that scene, like that the effect, the scene, like just with her being semi-real almost, but like not, and with the rain like kind of touching her, not, and it's just a cool effect. That's it.
It is, and I'm sure, like, you know, we gotta get into the scene later, which is like one of the coolest things visually that they do. Actually, 2 different scenes where they do some of the coolest visual effects. And I guess, I guess we'll go into some scenes later after this.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right, cool. Next one is Mesa. This is when Kay is leaving and flying to the orphanage. So he's leaving L.A., flying to the orphanage. Very simple, giant synth melody that is just top 3 best melodies in the score. Because I would say number 1 is still I'll get to it, but it's just
tease first.
Yeah.
I'll get to
A
it.
tease. Doesn't matter if you're a Blade Runner fan. Anyone watching, you know what number 1 is. You know, if you pay attention to the music, you'll know what number 1 is. Okay, then we have Joy. This is when Kay is essentially having his threesome, if you want to call it that. This is like a lot of synth bass. This is kind of similar to the previous one, but man, it fits the scene perfectly. I don't really know how else to explain it. But this is one of those tracks, not the one I'm going to specifically mention, but this is one of those tracks. If you listen by itself, I'm just saying you'll get a lot more. Yeah,
A lot to hear.
This next one though is the one I was going to mention. This is the one you need to listen to by itself more than anything else. This is called Seawall. This is the ending where they're in all that water fighting love. It's great. And it's like, how long is that sequence? It's got to be a 15-minute cue, I want to say, right? Because how long is that whole...
It's long.
It's a
from
long
them
fight
flying
scene.
to
Yeah,
it, right?
Yeah.
And then that whole thing up until, they get out of there and go to basically the final scene, right? Yeah. So so anyway, that track, that's the one. So yeah, I don't know how long the track is, but that's the one. There's so much going on, but it's like you aren't really paying attention to it because there's so much going on visually in that.
And story-wise, action-wise. Like
exactly. Like that's your final, like, kind of. So it's just insane what all they put in that. So that's the one I would say to listen to on its own. And then the last one is my number one, which is called Tears in the Rain. It's also called Tears in the Rain in the first Blade Runner score. And it originally played when over his monologue in the end of Blade Runner, which is like one of the best scenes. Also, I'd like to add, it's, man, I don't know what else I can say at this point about about the music. But this is ever since I heard that when the first movie came out, not when the first movie came out, when the first time I saw the first movie, it's very high up there as far as one of the best melodies. So anyway, in this one, they play it over when Kay's basically dying, when he goes to lay down. That's when they do it. So they do a different version of it. It's not exactly the same as how they do it in the original Blade Runner, but same idea. Yeah, that's it. I think that's... Yeah, I'll stop there. You guys talk for a while now because that was a lot.
All right. Yeah. So, so other scenes, anything specific you,
I mean, other than the Elvis scene where they're having that fight and the music is playing like on and off like it's glitching, that's one of my favorite scenes, I have to say. It's just so cool. Because, like, can you imagine being in a place like that, like in those like sofas and like all of those big names you wouldn't have been able to see in person or just kind of there? I think that would be a really cool experience. Definitely the lighting in the office, like I said, with the water ripples reflecting into it, is one of my favorite. Like him just being there in that office and everything. And when that replicant's born, that scene where he's like, you know, checking her out or whatever, is so cool. And all the colors, like, well, not colors because it's really just orange pretty much the whole time, and yellow, is one of my favorites. Obviously the iconic Joy, big giant Joy, and like Kay just like half dead, like, and she comes down, and this is after obviously Joy gets...
That's the scene I would say, like, if I had to pick one.
Yeah.
Because that's what I see everywhere since this movie came out.
It's
like, that's
it's
the most iconic
shot.
Yeah.
Blade Runner scenes.
there's they used it a lot in the marketing and
a
and
lot
stuff.
of memes.
Oh yeah, it was in a lot of the trailer. Yeah, and memes, of course, too.
Yeah, all the memes.
Yeah, the of course I guess Jared referred to it as a threesome, but like that scene was
she syncs up,
the whole, like, just the way they did that and the way they were blending in and out of each of their faces, and just insane.
Cool.
But even, I mean, all the stuff with her, besides the fact that she's super attractive, is like, even when like he
preface that first,
just like that just adds to it. But
it
like,
does, for sure.
You know, and the enjoyment of watching. But the when he comes home the first time and like she's playing, stay-at-home housewife, but then like she changes outfits, she changes, like, it's just, and it's
Let's
like
dance.
it's like, it's fun.
Yeah,
it's just like cool effects. And then the moment when he adds the upgrade and she doesn't have to be attached to the thing anymore, and like she conveys that like joy, no pun intended, of the, like, just that it's like you really felt like she felt free, right? And felt like, so I think it was like all that stuff was really cool.
Yeah.
Cool effects.
How about that scene where Love bops that guy in the back of the neck and he starts bleeding out of all of his orifices?
Dude,
like,
she's like brutally, like,
is there a way
I
to
don't
hit
know.
somebody where they start bleeding from their eyes, and like,
I mean, she's a replicant though, so like you see her strength a lot.
She's like wildly
in it.
powerful.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was like,
Strength-wise,
ooh, it's like, oh my gosh. I
Yeah.
don't want to look at that.
Claudia kept mentioning she has like perfect fighting form.
Oh man, her martial arts skills are
Yeah.
insane. Her axe kick when she comes
Mhm.
down on Kay when they like get Deckard or whatever.
Mhm.
I mean, her leg comes and the straight on. I was like, wow, that was a beautiful kick.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Which that's why I was like, yeah, I don't know if that was actually her or not doing that, you know, that
Yeah,
kick.
I don't know.
True.
But-
yeah, they might have been using
Yeah.
stunt doubles.
It
for
looked like
something.
her though when they did their final fight.
No, it did. Yeah.
It looked like
I
her
bet you
doing
she
it.
did train.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. We've covered so many scenes already.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, one thing I did want to mention is like, so you know, we talked about this when we with prisoners, but then I was like, so much more rain and then snow.
Oh yeah.
And then it was funny because like watching it, I'm like, oh yeah, lots of scenes with rain, and then later there's a bunch of snow, which again is also probably challenging and adds extra. And then when I was watching some of the extras, Roger Deakins actually mentioned all the stuff they have to do just because of the water and the rain happening, and it was like talking about the protection. And then I guess they even have like a little wiper for the front of the or no, he was talking about there was like air that blows constantly in front of the lens to keep the water off the lens.
Mm.
And I was
Wow.
like, oh yeah, I guess you'd have to do
Yeah,
that.
that's
to do
true.
something.
Yeah.
There's so much,
It's like torrential downpouring all the time.
and especially when those lenses they're using are like, you know,
Mhm.
probably $30,000 a lens or something.
Sheesh.
And
It
so
is funny, yeah. The amount of rain in prisoners, and then now thinking about it,
Yeah.
that's not even as much as
yeah,
in
this
No,
and then
yeah.
and then the snow
in the
too.
snow. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it was just a little tidbit note that I thought about when
Mm-hmm.
again those things that we're seeing or thinking about because of watching someone's work and like this and in order to just
I imagine this was. I don't know if this is something you can look up for every movie, but I imagine this was a very long shoot in general.
the production days,
Yeah,
amount of production days.
yeah.
Probably. I don't, yeah.
And also, speaking of that, and like just because this is almost a 3-hour long movie. Again, like what did I mention this in? I think Sicario, how well paced that whole movie is. I think this movie's the same way. It's
Jared
almost
at
3
the end
hours.
said he wishes it was longer.
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish it was even longer, but yeah, it's like you're never bored. It's it's great the whole way through. There's no down point in the movie.
Yeah. There's no point in the movie where I'm like, is this wrapping up? Like,
Yeah.
is this almost over?
Right. No.
Yeah.
No. It is intentionally paced slower though.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
All the
intentionally,
walking,
but
yeah.
like all the there's just like allowing this just soak in those environments.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, because like you could, from a story standpoint, you could probably trim 45 minutes out of it, and still,
You could
and
try.
still
Yeah.
get all the and still see all the major scenes play out and things play out. Maybe longer. I don't know because of those long shots, but
And actually, with the two short films, if you put them in there, that actually
be 3
basically
hours.
equals 3 hours. Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to that I was thinking about that was interesting is, so I don't know, are you guys familiar when you say the hero's journey? Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
By that? And maybe for just listeners that don't, where your main character, finds out, oh, I mean, Matrix is a perfect example. Oh, you're the chosen one, right? Or Lord of the Rings, Frodo. You just have these like common things with the hero's journey, right? And this has that until it doesn't, right? Like it's basically setting the film sets it up where you think Kay is, and he thinks he is,
Yeah.
right? But it plays out the way you would if say you were writing the movie for him to be that way, like everything until that moment when he finds out he's not, so to speak, not
Right.
I'll say it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have changed anything. You'd still like have him, discover this, discover that, because again, you have to be reluctant to become the hero for the hero's journey. You can't just be like, I want to be the hero, right?
Right.
So it's all those things that is perfectly lined up in that way to tell that hero's journey. But then at that last, I mean, it's not at the beginning of the third act. I feel like it's like inside the third act
Mm-hmm.
that he finds out he's not the chosen one, so to speak.
Yeah.
But then he still plays an important role in getting things moving forward, whatever, so to speak. But yeah, anyway, I thought that was fascinating and a good like storytelling, trope. They used the trope, but then kind of twisted it a little bit so that threw you off as a viewer.
Yeah, it is good because first time seeing this movie, like I didn't really see that, coming at all. When she's like,
When
about
we had the daughter,
she.
and he's
She's
like,
using she
and then you
pronouns,
see
yeah.
that, yeah, and you see
Yeah,
that
and
on
then
his
he's like,
face,
he's
and
like she, yeah, and then yeah. First time seeing this, I was like, what? It's
because you as a viewer are used to things playing out that way and seeing that type of story told,
Mhm.
and then yeah, he's gonna play out the role of being the chosen one, or in this case. But
and then thinking about it now, especially how many times seeing this movie now, the scene where, oh man, I'm gonna have to find her name again because they don't say it in it. Dr. Anna. Kay, goes to see her for the first time. And he asks about, or no, maybe it's the second time because he asks about, she wants him to show her a specific memory of his, so he does it, he sits down and does that. And then like her face and then her response, she's like, yes, someone did live this. And she's like, crying.
yeah,
It's like knowing what
Yeah.
that is. It's like, that makes that scene even more
Right.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well,
yeah.
they flash back to it later when he realizes.
Right.
They flash to those moments, and then you realize even this shot, you're like, oh, yeah, it's a short-haired girl,
Yeah.
and not
Oh, the
right?
Not a
flashback,
boy.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a boy when he's an orphan or whatever.
But when you think about it, it's like
when she's
it
an
looks
orphan,
like
I guess.
both. That
Right,
kid
intentionally.
looks like both. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which is cool. It's a good way to do that as a storytelling.
Yeah. Looking through.
Well, I can do one because I don't really have like a ton of notes besides this or anything. I just have a couple. And this kind of goes along with what you're talking about with Kay in general and like his whole story through this is so from the beginning. Yeah, the beginning scene. Sapper mentions to Kay. How does he say it exactly? Oh, he said, "How does it feel killing your own kind?" So right off the bat, Kay is not a human. He's a replicant.
Right. Yeah.
And through the whole movie, they still get you to care and empathize with him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So especially by the end, you're like, oh, dang, is he actually going to die? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
even though if you think about it, it's like, well, if he's a replicant, could they bring him back? I don't really know how that all works in the context of this world, but
We kind of learned that the world is prejudiced against replicants too.
skin jobs, they call
Yeah.
him. Yep.
Skinners, skin
Mhm.
jobs. He's got like graffiti written
Yeah, on his
outside
door.
of his apartment door. At work, they just bully him like
Mhm.
all like the human.
Yeah, speaking of his work, well, I had a look. It was funny that like he gets cock blocked by his boss because he's getting ready to make out with Joy, and the first time like she's like free. And
Oh, yeah.
Then she you get like the call comes in and
Yeah.
interrupts it.
Come in.
Oh, that was great. Yeah,
it
the
is
way it
great.
freezes her.
It
Yeah.
freezes her, and like, what's wrong? But then I was just along those lines, like the stuff in the LAPD police station. The way that like there's scenes where they have them repeat stuff and the
Oh, yeah, his
bass line,
bass line, yeah.
stuff that I thought that was interesting because you're like it's so, I mean, who writes this, right? Like it's so
Right.
random the words they're saying, and
Yeah.
you're like, but yet
Yeah.
it's hard to write something that sounds random, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then of course then the fun, like that last moment, I guess he's with the boss, because then he like downright lies to her, right? And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but like she believes him because she didn't think, and then she's like, oh yeah, I can buy you a day or whatever. But anyway,
How about when she comes on to him in his apartment and she's drinking his alcohol, and she's like, "What happens if I finish that?"
All right.
It's like, shouldn't I get back to
Yeah.
work? Shut down.
Love comes on to him too. It's like, dude, every girl is like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
at some point.
Why
yeah.
wouldn't you? I mean,
I only have one more thing. Harrison Ford, you do not see him until an hour 45 minutes in this
Third
movie.
act, yeah.
And this is like the one thing I think they did wrong, which I guess now thinking about it, the reason why they probably did it is because Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford did a lot of interviews or in like what do you call that, press junkets together. But in the trailer they show Harrison Ford. But imagine going in this movie,
and
not knowing how like sick would have that been.
It would have
kept
been
that even
awesome.
more of a secret. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand why they didn't, because
Right,
it's such a
such a big deal.
big, big, good use of marketing to get people to show up for the movie, right? Like
Sure.
if you
Yes.
have this, like, well, everyone's gonna, if they know he's in it, they're gonna, and everybody that's a fan of the original is definitely gonna come see it. But if we don't tell them he's in it, then they probably will. But we, and then of course Harrison Ford in general has just, years of fans or whatever, so like it's hard to like be like, yeah, let's keep that a secret. And
I know.
because even with that, like I don't remember the exact numbers, but it didn't make a ton of money.
It didn't,
in the box
which is
office.
sad.
I think globally it was only like 250 million, which means barely made back the budget, because they always the number. So the production budget, and then they always say they do almost
You double it for the right. Usually,
double it for what?
sorry, I meant the filming budget. You basically double that, and then that's the total cost of everything with promotion and everything, right?
I was gonna say, like, normally it's 50% more is what they spend on like promotion and marketing.
Okay.
But maybe if you include other things, I don't know. But yeah, so they like to, so you kind of want to at least factor in another, almost another 100 million probably. So then 250 million of cost to do it and get it out there and everything. And then that's all it made globally. Of course, then it makes more money out later. But so I don't know if from a financial studio standpoint, I don't know if they would consider it a success or not. It's definitely on the line.
Yeah, I would have gone to see it more than twice, but that was all I did in that time. It wasn't actually even in theaters, I want to say, that long.
Well, that's the,
Right.
If it's not making money, they don't keep it in theaters.
Well, I know we're running long, so that's it for me.
Yeah, I don't think, I was trying to look through I think we covered most everything else I had notes on at some point or another.
Yeah.
The point is, anyone watching this, if you haven't seen this movie, why? Why?
It's like that Arctic Monkey song. What do you mean you've never seen Blade Runner?
That's right. Good pull, Claudia. Yeah, that is a line in one of their songs. He says, "What do you mean you never seen Blade Runner?"
We'll say, so what we didn't, before we go to trivia, if you have any.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't even look.
that's a good idea. I mean, we don't have to do a ton of it, but I would like to know,
Yeah,
like, just
a few things.
Yeah.
But before we do that, I'm going to say, like, what do you, like, just overall, like, underlying themes, messages of this movie? What do you think?
I do. I was trying to think about, because I think, did I mention this either last time or the time before that, about all of his films, like having like a moral?
Yeah.
And I'm wondering.
That's why I'm asking this question.
Okay, because I'm wondering, does it continue to this? Because it did with Arrival.
Mm-hmm.
With this one, I guess a little different, because we're dealing with not only humans, but replicants too. But I don't know. What do you think?
I think anytime you deal with non-human things, whether it's aliens or, there's always at least the message of, accepting people who they are, regardless of where they came from, kind of thing, right? Or even if they are a different race, so to speak, right?
Right.
So I think there's definitely that kind of stuff in there. I think I think seeing when difference it makes. I think there's a lot of stuff talking about finding purpose, like all the replicants that seem like they were talking about miracles and things, but like finding something to live for and purpose.
Yeah.
They kind of came alive, right, in a different way, and of course he did too. Once then he started doing things that he wasn't told to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I think they kind of allude to is, what is, I'm trying to remember the line where she's like, well, it's the most human thing we can do, right?
Dying for
Dying for the right cause.
Right cause.
Yeah, the right cause. Yeah.
Is the most human thing that we could do. Yeah.
And I think that's kind of it's I think that says a lot. I mean, I think there's a lot of truth to that. Like, I think there's a reason people, will die for our country if they believe in what they're standing for. A reason a parent will jump in front of something for their kid. Whatever. There's just, I think there's a lot of truth to that. That's what makes us human.
Yeah. What do you think, Claudia?
Robots are people too.
There you go.
I mean, they do that with...
Don't mess with AI.
That's right.
Because they're going to start being sentient and conscious.
Be nice to Siri. Be nice to your Roomba.
Yeah. Let's know our limits on creating artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
That's the
Is there any...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
This first one's is a strong one.
All right. Trivia.
Let's hear it. Trivia.
All right. David Bowie was director Denis Villeneuve's first choice for the role of Neander Wallace. He died before the start of shooting.
Oh, man.
Can you imagine?
Wow.
That's awesome. I can't imagine it. That's
I love
insane.
Jared Leto, but
yeah, that would have been...
David Bowie would have been insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The first letter of the names of each of the wooden animals that Rick Deckard carved in this movie it's rhino, an antelope, cat, horse, elephant, and a lion, which spells Rachel.
Oh, cool.
Interesting.
Oh, one quick thing. Sorry. How do you... I did want to mention this at some point, and I didn't write it down. How'd you feel about the Rachel? That they do at the end.
When they try to tease them and like they have her walk out.
Yeah, but I mean specifically like the technology, because this is 6 years old, and I think this is one of the best they've done with putting her.
It held up. It looked good.
Yeah, I thought so too. Because obviously they got someone else. I doubt.
Probably a body double.
Yeah, because I doubt Sean Young was there at all for it. I don't think so.
Speaking of which, I thought.
But they used her face obviously from the original, so.
I thought they did a good job casting the daughter. She looked kind of like her. Like in some feature, like it looked like she could be the daughter. Anyway,
definitely, yeah. Okay,
more trivia.
Okay. To make Joy appear more artificial, editor Joe Walker experimented by freezing her image for 9 frames just before she responds to a question. That way it looked like her program paused for a split second, as if her processor was briefly occupied in coming up with an answer. However, it felt corny and was decided that her artificiality was already convincingly communicated through her fast costume changes and transparency in appearance.
Oh, so they didn't actually go with that.
Did not actually go with that.
That's a cool idea, though, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Shout out to the editors again.
There you go.
We'll just do one more. As seen in this movie, the baseline test that Kay must recite back, a system of cells interlinked within cells, interlinked within cells, interlinked, was Ryan Gosling's idea. He employed an acting technique called dropping in, which induced a trance-like and hypnotic effect on his performance.
Man, what a pro.
Interlinked.
What a pro, Ryan Gosling.
Say cells 3 times. Cells. cells.
Interlinked. All right, those are some strong trivia.
Yeah, strong trivia. The first
cool.
one, my goodness. What?
Yeah.
David Bowie? God rest his soul.
I know.
So, yeah, I think that's it for this movie.
Yeah.
So then we're on to the
next.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dune.
Dude.
Part 1.
part
Oh,
one.
boy.
Part 1. I'm actually looking forward to it because I've only watched this movie once.
Ooh,
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Because I watched it not in theaters, but right when it was in theaters because
Right.
it was on HBO Max at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
And so I haven't watched it since. And yeah. So,
Jared was like, absolutely not. We're watching it in the theater.
yeah. I wish I had gone to see it in the theater, but just didn't get around to it at the time. I don't know what was going on, but
Yeah.
when did that come out?
2021?
Okay.
I think it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
So it was probably when I was still working,
End of
working like
2021.
80 hours a week and
Oh, geez.
didn't have time to go to
Okay.
the movies. That's probably when
When you didn't have a life.
I want to say when we went to go see it, I think you were like, you were trying to go, but then like you were like, no, because it was a Sunday, I want to say. But then, yeah,
Oh,
we ended
yeah.
up, right?
I think I remember that. Yeah. Vaguely.
But we went, well, you were living for, no. Which one did we go to? I don't know.
I was not living in Frederick yet. I don't think.
Okay.
Was I? No, I would have been because if it came out and it came in
we
December.
don't live in Frederick.
No, we do not live in Frederick. Not anymore.
keep our location a secret. Yeah, no, I just don't remember which other theater we
I can't remember.
theater we went to.
I can't remember which one we went
But
to either.
anyway,
but
but-
anyway, yeah.
It's just fun to joke about.
I know,
'cause it's
right?
obviously,
Our fans.
if you
they're gonna
if you
stalk us.
actually Googled my name, I'm sure you can figure out where I live. Because
Oh yeah,
yeah.
anyone.
Any
can-
young bar? There's not a lot of us.
no,
No.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah. So Dune, and then
Dune,
that's it. Then we got
and
to.
then we'll announce next pod what we'll do next.
Yeah.
Next director. But yeah, so thanks for watching this and listening. We do appreciate the few of you that take the time to either watch or listen to this.
The few, the proud.
Yeah.
uh,
Thank you for letting me ramble. this
Small but mighty fans. And for all of you that haven't, please like and subscribe and support the YouTube channel, or give us a rating of 5 stars on
Yeah.
Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Only 5.
And of course, if you'd like to give us feedback on you don't agree, or you just want to
You
say
wanna fight?
hi, you want to say hi and say some nice words, you can email us at feedback@screentimepod.com. And you can follow us, each of us, on Instagram. I'm at jyoungbar.
I'm at Claudia Youngbar.
I'm at Jared Youngbar.
And with that, we will talk to you guys next time.